Hi guys, today we're going to make a beautiful Greek recipe called spanakopita. I love this recipe because it's got fresh ingredients, which is some beautiful fresh spring onions, spinach, fresh dill and a brown onion. We start by chopping the spring onions. You can chop them any way you like, on a slant, but we're using the whole spring onion. There's no waste. The next ingredient is the spinach. It will give it a beautiful sweet taste as well. So we chop the spinach up into approximately 1-inch pieces. And we pop the spinach straight into a colander. And you take this to the sink and rinse it thoroughly under cold water. The other ingredient is brown onion. So just chop it up anyway. Any imperfect slicing will disappear in the pita. It's a very forgiving recipe. The final thing that we'll chop up is all the fresh dill. We can chop off the fronds first to make it easier and cut these up really roughly. And now we'll fry our onion, our brown onion and spring onion in olive oil. Good 2/3 of a cup, let it get nice and warm. And then pop in our onions. Fry them up until they're nice and soft. The brown onions will get all beautiful and translucent. The spring onions will become an even brighter green, and that smell will just fill the whole kitchen. It's a beautiful, beautiful smell. So I'll add the big bunch in first. And we've got to let this wilt a bit, and then we'll add the other amount in. And this will just turn to nothing. Keep tossing it around in the pan, and it will turn bright green, and then it'll start to wilt down and marry with all the onion flavours that we put in the beginning. So once all the spinach has wilted and it's still a very nice green colour, you want to retain that vibrancy, and it's brought out a lot of water from the spinach, it's ready to season with a little bit of salt, just sea salt, and some freshly ground black pepper. The final stage to get the filling ready is to put the filling in a colander over a bowl and just get rid of some of that excess water, because there is a lot of water and that will make the phyllo pastry very soggy. The next stage is whisking up the eggs. So we'll break 3 eggs into a bowl. Free-range eggs if preferable. They always taste nicer and their yolks are so much more vibrant. Whisk them up. So we'll add now 1/2 kilo of feta, which is approximately 2½ slices, and we'll crumble it in the eggs with our fingers. So for our pastry, we need a big baking dish. We need some phyllo pastry and some extra virgin olive oil for brushing. So first, in our baking dish, lots of extra virgin olive oil on the base. So 1 by 1, phyllo on the bottom. Don't be afraid to use phyllo. It's very forgiving. It will hide all the imperfections, and brush in between each layer. Essential to brush in between each layer, because that's where you get all that beautiful crispiness and the flavour incorporated in the dish. And keep going all the way until half of your phyllo pastry has been prepared this way. Okay, so that's now ready for the filling. Grab our filling, it's cooled down now, and we'll add our fresh dill. Lots of fresh dill, and our egg and feta cheese mix, and give that a good mix. Oh, it smells beautiful. You can see how fresh this filling is and how good it is for you. You can use lots of other herbs as well. If you don't like dill, you can definitely substitute with parsley. You can get creative and call it your own. And that is ready to pour straight into our phyllo base. Spoon it evenly over the base, pressing it down. And now we'll continue with the remaining filo pastry. And don't worry if it tears, again, it will all hide itself when it's all baked. Now, before we put the final piece on, we'll just tuck in our sides just a little bit more with our fingers. Make sure there's nothing sticking out the top. And a little creative tip, just tuck the top under, right up to the edge of the dish, and it will create a nice clean seam. I've preheated the oven to 175, so the best way to cut into serving slices is to kind of eyeball it as a half piece and then half of the right hand side and then half of the left hand side. And this ensures that when the filo pastry comes out of the oven, you don't have to cut it, because once filo pastry has been baked, it's very difficult to cut. When it comes out of the oven, you can definitely go over the cuts again. We'll brush with a little bit more olive oil on the top to make it nice and golden. And you can also, again, get creative and sprinkle some sesame seeds, white or black, just to make it your own recipe. Yum! Beautiful. Ready for the oven. And that smells delicious. We'll just score the cuts just one more time, just to make sure that the filo is separated, and just go around the outside with a knife as well, just to make sure that nothing has stuck to the baking tray. Yum. Absolutely beautiful. This is my fantastic spanakopita.